What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Dark Crisis, The Dark Army. This will be a one-shot with Damian Wayne versus the Darkness. And this story is taking place prior to the Justice League returning back to Earth Zero. With what heroes remain on Earth, they are battling against the Dark Army, against Deathstroke, Pariah, and all of his forces. And with Batman not being here, we are seeing individuals step up like Damian Wayne, trying to fill those shoes, trying to live up to the legacy, trying to live up to his father's name. Now, be sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we pick up with this issue, we are starting outside the Hall of Justice, with Damian Wayne giving us narration, a teenager with no superpowers, no ultimate weapon, no enhanced stamina or invulnerability, a kid standing 5'4", weighing 140 pounds. And when I first read that, I was like, man, Robin has to just be jacked to be 5'4" and weigh 140 pounds. Either you are obese or you got a crap ton of muscle on your body. But Damian Wayne believes that he is about to snatch victory from the Dark Army, with heavy hitters like Darkseid, Ares, Neron, all of these individuals. They have been unleashed on the Hall of Justice, on all of Earth Zero. Every hero that is still alive, they are out here on the battlefield, and they are fighting for survival. This is when Damian tells Jonathan Kent that they have to try something else. Now, Damian has a plan. He tells Superboy what this plan is, and while John would love to join him, he knows that he is needed on this battlefield, and so he gathers up his team quickly from the individuals that are here. This is where we have Sideways, our transportation to where they are going to need to go. The muscle Power Girl, and a little bit of energy coming from Dr. Light, the brains of the operation, obviously being Damian Wayne. He quickly gathers these forces up, lets them know where they need to go. As Sideways opens up a portal, we see a newbie on the battlefield, with Girder getting ready to just smash her with a truck. Damian grabs a hold of her, and they jump into the portal. Landing on the other side, we see that this is a new character by the name of Red Canary, with all the members of this makeshift team wondering what the heck they are actually doing here. Damian Wayne is keeping the secrets very close to the chest, but they are on a different Earth. This is a world that has been destroyed. For Red Canary, all of this information is new. The idea of other worlds, other multiverses, even other dimensions. Red Canary is very new to this superhero gig, with Damian giving her a very quick crash course lesson in what they are about to do. We are learning that Red Canary, outside of not really understanding the world outside of her own, she is also not a very experienced fighter. All of this is new to her, but with Black Canary being gone, she has stepped up and she's trying to do everything she can. Robin telling her that she is nothing more than a liability, because what they are about to go up against, this is something that she is not prepared for. As they find themselves reaching the surface, they are on Earth 53, a world once inhabited by apes. But it doesn't really matter who lives here or who used to live here. They are following a signal, taking a T-Watch from Mr. Terrific. Damian Wayne is using this to trace Pariah's chains. As they follow the signal, this is what leads them to the Cosmic Tuning Fork. Power Girl being very familiar about this. After everything that they did to her inside of that, after everything that happened to her, this is one reason Robin didn't bring up where they were going. He wanted to ensure that everyone would come along regardless of their destination. He also brought her along because he believed that she knew how to operate this thing, how to communicate, how to interact with it. The only thing Power Girl knows is that bad guys knocked her out. They plugged her into it like a freaking battery. As they have this this discussion, this is when we see the sky begin to come alive. The shadow demons are coming for them, with Power Girl lifting Damian up onto the tuning fork. He gets over to the operation panel, trying to figure out how to get this thing open. The shadow demons begin descending down on them. Luckily, they have Dr. Light who is with them, with Dr. Light using her abilities to at least keep back all the shadow demons. Up with Power Girl and Damian Wayne, Power Girl is being almost pulled apart. These shadow demons are pulling her in every single direction, while she tries with all her power to break free. We can see that she is very much struggling, trying to hold them off for as long as she can. The shadow demons, they seem to disappear, as if they are running away, but they are not running, they are transforming. We see all the shadow demons, they come into one giant ball. They form into one giant shadow demon. This is where Dr. Light gets an idea, telling Power Girl to hit her with their optic blast, being able to absorb all kinds of light. Using that heat vision, we see Power Girl power up Dr. Light. This gives her enough power to take down the shadow demon, but this is only a temporary solution, as the shadow demons, they break apart back into individual little people. This gives the team enough time to make it inside the tuning fork, with Sideways getting his abilities recharged, if you will, because he is not able to just jump at will. He needs to have the energy built up to be able to do it. This takes a little bit of time. As they follow the signal, this is what brings them to the House of Heroes, the Bleed, with Dr. Light recognizing that the Monitor used this machinery to give her her powers. Finding a terminal, they try to bring Harbinger online, but in doing so, Harbinger lets them know that they need to shut her down immediately. All of her systems have been shut down to keep the Dark Army locked out of the House of Heroes, because if they breach the Orrery of Worlds, this means the Dark Army, they could take over the multiverse in an instant. This is when Justice League Incarnate shows their faces. Except the Justice League Incarnate, they have been taken over by the Dark Army. Wrapped in chains, they are nothing more than minions of Pariah. While some members of Justice League Incarnate focus on the team, President Superman and some of the others, they are focused on breaking in. This is their main objective, as our heroes do everything they can to hold them off. Even Dr. Light's abilities are just not enough to stop them. This is when Damian Wayne thinks that if the Dark Army is able to break into there, and they are able to spread across the multiverse so vastly and so quickly, what if we get there first? What if we send Dr. Light inside? Could this work, and would it stop the Dark Army? And while Harbinger lets them know that this is something that is not advised, they have no other option. So with Dr. Light going in, she goes inside and she sees everything, knowing that Pariah's technology connected him to the Great Darkness. However, Monitor made her part of something as well, not really understanding until this very moment. Something inside of her was already shining across the multiverse. Not just the 52 worlds, but the infinite ones. As this light begins to grow, the darkness begins to scream, and emerging from there, we have Dr. Light, who has been heavily upgraded. As Justice League Incarnate focus on Dr. Light, we see that she is able to break away the chains that Pariah has on them. In an instant, this battle is over. Justice League Incarnate has been freed, and Dr. Light is more powerful than she has ever been. But going inside of there didn't work out like they had originally planned. She wasn't able to attack the darkness, but it did show her how she could fully embrace her light abilities. They may not be able to take the chains off the Dark Army, but they know that they can break them. As they prepare to head back to Earth Zero, with Sideways running on fumes, he is not really sure where they might land if he tries to jump them. That is where Dr. Multiverse comes into play. One of her gifts is the ability to see variant selves and determine their home reality, as she takes a glimpse of all of our heroes. She also gets a small glimpse of what is in store for Damian Wayne, and that is taking place currently in Batman vs. Robin, letting Damian know that he has a uniquely consistent path ahead of him. him, though it's not relevant for the task ahead. She is giving him a small glimpse of what is yet to come. But having the location, we see Sideways open up the portal. Justice League Incarnate and Robin's team, they jump through and they get ready for the final battle. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. It wasn't a bad tie-in, it's not a bad one-shot, it's a tad bit unnecessary. There was actually no real reason to have this in here. Obviously, they're gonna be doing something with Dr. Light later on down the line. At least that's what it appears to be showing us. If they don't do something with Dr. Light, then this issue, this comic, is completely pointless. Outside of Red Canary and Sideways, characters that are new or we don't see a lot, there's really not a whole lot that is going on here. Now, this comic does have multiple artists in it, multiple writers. You know, it was just given to a whole slew of people, which is cool in some aspects. But the way that Damian Wayne is differently drawn throughout the entirety of this comic makes it very weird. In one minute, he looks like a 13-year-old kid, and the next minute, he looks like he is 17 years old. It is just wildly inconsistent on how different artists draw Robin. In one minute, he's looking like he is almost 6 foot tall, and the next, he's 5'4", looking like a scrawny kid. You would think on a comic book where you're literally having, you know, multiple artists do multiple renditions of him, that you would try, at least try, to make it look as similar as possible. But if you go back and you look at the early pages of this comic, like, he straight up looks like he is about to turn 18 years old and he smokes cigarettes. And then you go a couple pages ahead and it looks like that he's dropped a foot and he has been aged down like 6 years. Like I said, it's just wildly inconsistent. But I am excited to see how Dr. Light is going to play this part moving forward. We're getting closer and closer to finally being done with this story. I personally feel like it's been drawn out for far too long. It has taken way too long to get to this point. And we still have a couple more things. We have Dark Crisis Warzone, and then we have Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths number 7. You know, it really is just dragging out this battle for as long as they possibly can. Because what we have seen is Justice League has already come back. They're already fighting against all of these enemies. One of the things I don't like about this comic is the fact that somehow Pariah's hold, you know, the Dark Army's hold, or I should say the Darkness's hold over all of the bad guys, somehow depowers all of them. Maybe this gives more power to Pariah, but even if you're depowering Darkseid, if you're depowering Doomsday, these are still huge threats that even depowered, there is no real chance for heroes like Damian Wayne, who Doomsday could just squash in an instant. I like the idea of an all-out war, but the fact of the matter is that the Dark Army, they could have easily cleaned up all of the heroes in a matter of minutes, regardless of being depowered, regardless of any plot armor we want to throw in there. And so for me, it just makes the story very unrealistic. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on everything going on with this series, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on the entirety of Dark Crisis. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only would you be helping out the channel tremendously, you would be getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.